Okay, so let's get to the actual demo. I'm going to switch my screen sharing here and move over to this side where we can actually see I've got Sage up here on the left and I've got our handheld application on the right. So if you're not familiar, this is the way the handheld application is displayed on a mobile barcode scanning terminal that's connected via Wi-Fi in real time back to Sage. Okay, so you can have as many users set up as you wish. You could have passwords if you wish. I'm going to go ahead and log in and start the process. This is my main menu where I can do everything from inventory transactions like physical counts and transfers, and issues and receipts, things like that. My inventory utilities tab is where I can do things like print labels, reprint labels, things of that nature. Order processing is where we're going to be doing the demo today because we're dealing with a sales order. I also have manufacturing, license plating, some other modules here turned on, but we're going to be focusing today on this order processing menu. So order processing is where we do purchase orders and sales orders. So I have one application here for PO receiving, but I have three options for sales order shipping because if you recall from the very first point where I outlined the way we do picking, we have the SO shipping, which is the one-step method. One person picks stuff, puts it in a box, gets the shipping labels. Or we have the two-step pick and pack operation, where we can have a different person picking and then handing it off to someone at a packing station, or we can pick and stage and come back and pack it later. Okay. Now, in order to show you this the most efficient way possible, I'm going to use the one-step method because it's a little faster than doing the two-step where I pick it, then come back and do the pack. So the screens are the same. We just have them all strung together in SO shipping. So I'm going to go into SO shipping. And I'm going to search and look at all of my sales orders that I have. I scroll all the way to the bottom. I have this order number 204, 204. So I'm going to load that up. And you see that little box that said loading. That's based on our architecture. We are now downloaded all the information about order number 204 to the resident memory of the handheld. So now on the handheld, I can see that I'm getting ready to do package number 1. Okay, and then we'll switch to package number 2 in a moment. And then over here is where I enter my weights and sizes and such. Okay, so right now it's ready for me to tell it which item am I picking right now. Well, directed picking has kicked in and it has told me that I have two items to pick on this order. I have item 1901, which is an orange widget, and item 1902, which is a gray widget. And it's telling me which location to go and get them. It's aisle A, rack 100, bin 20. And these happen to be in the same location, but they could just as easily be on the other side of the or opposite side of the warehouse. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select the very first item. Now, if you were using a scan gun, you would be scanning barcodes. I'm not holding a scan gun, so I'm going to be using my mouse to click. You can scan barcodes, you can click with your finger, you can scroll just like you would on your phone. So I'm just going to click, and you can see it populates the item 1901 here as the first item, and I'll hit accept. And now based on those pre-allocations that we talked about, now this whole example is built on a multi-bin environment. If you're not working in a multi-bin environment, this is a little simpler because you skip this screen. You don't have to tell it what location you're pulling it from. Okay. But in a multi-bin environment, this item could exist in 10 or 20 different locations potentially. And I'm going to have to tell it which location I'm pulling from. Well, it has allocated for me 10 units in location A120. So I would, and with my gun, walk up to that location or in my forklift or whatever I was on. I would scan that location and it would populate up here in this field and I accept on through. And now it is telling me that I have allocated 10 items in this bin. And the way that you read these quantities, it's what have I shipped thus far versus what was ordered. So I've shipped 0 of 10 on the sales order. So my quantity remaining is 10. If I put, say, 6 of these in the first box, and then I came back to fill in the balance, it would tell me I've already shipped 6 out of 10, and it would do the math and tell me I only had 4 left. So it constantly keeps up with what the user's done. For simplicity's sake, I'm just going to put all 10 of the first item in the first box, and then we'll put the second item in its own box just to keep it simple. So I will say I'm allocating 10 of those. And now you'll notice that that line item has dropped off my pick list because I picked it complete. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and enter my weights and dimensions, the box sizes. I could wait and do all that at the back end after I had boxed everything, or you could do it one at a time. I'll show you the one at a time method now. So I'll click this button, and now it's opening up this window that's linking back to StarShip. So for package number 1, it wants me to enter a weight. So I'll tell it it's 15 pounds. And now it wants the package type. Okay. And this is one where I'll have to beg your pardon. So normally, if this is sized to fit on a normal barcode scanning terminal, where you see all these UPS Expresses, you would see the actual dimensions out to the side of it. Okay. But in order to make this entire screen a lot more visible and easier to read, I've got it blown up much larger than normal. Because of that, the rendering, I don't see the full width of this. That would never happen to you in the real world, I promise. On the handheld, it would render properly and you would see all these dimensions. It's just because I have this blown up to make it a little larger, it's easier to see. So I'm just going to go ahead and select the first one. And these are package sizes that are pulling from StarShip, okay, because this sales order was set to go UPS. So it's giving me all the UPS possible options. If I had set the sales order to go FedEx, then it would be giving me FedEx options in my dropdown here. Okay, so I'll go ahead and hit accept. And now I'm going to increment up and I'm going to do package number 2 or box number 2 or pallet number 2 or whatever it is. So from here, I will go ahead and select the next item. I will identify the location I'm pulling it from. Again, that's only a multi-bin scenario. Okay. And I will say I'm pulling 6 quantity. And now I can enter my weights and dimensions there. So I will say this one weighs 10 pounds. And I'll select a different size box for this one. Okay. And up here at the top, whenever you're done with a transaction, you're going to have these same 2 icons for you always. I have this paper airplane, which actually sends the data back over to Sage, but I also have this one that looks like a clipboard. The clipboard shows me everything that I've done. So I can see in package number 1, I put item 1901. It came from this location, and there were 10 of them. Likewise, package number 2, this item code, this location, and there were 6 of those. And up here through this toggle, I can go through and I can sort and look at all the items that are in one or the other. Because you might have multiple items in the same box, and it would show you that here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit send and send all that data back over. Now, on that screen I was just on, I could have entered the data at that time, the weights, the package sizes. I could have done it all at that time. What I showed you was the one at the time method. Okay, so let's jump back over here. And now, by the way, what's happened as soon as I do that, my labels are printing out. Okay, so again, I don't have a label printer here, so we're not physically seeing that happen, but my labels are printing out, and now the person that's at that packing station can go ahead and label those. So I'm going to go into shipping data entry here, and this is going to go into a batch. And I'm going to have multiple orders here, but it was this order number 204 that we were working on just now. And we can see that 10 were ordered and 6 were ordered, and we shipped those exact quantities. And if I click on the shipping tab, I can see now that my ship weight, my 15 pounds and 10 pounds have added up. I have a total of 25. My freight charges have pulled forward. And if I click on the tracking tab, I can see the actual tracking numbers for both of these packages. Now, because we're working in a demo environment, it gives me these bogus numbers, but these would be legit tracking numbers for you. Okay. Now, some automatic things can happen in StarShip at this point. They have the ability to print out or generate branded email. So it looks like it's got your logo and that sort of stuff, and it can be sent directly to the person attached to the client, attached to that sales order with all this tracking information. The hope there is that they don't have to bother your salespeople and drag down their time by giving this information. It can just be automatically sent to them. Okay. All right, now let's go and take a look at StarShip and see what's happening. Let me quickly refresh this. Oh, and it timed me out while I was talking, so let me jump back in there. Okay, so here's our order number 2004. We have an invoice for it because it's officially shipped in Sage. I can see all the detail here. And if I look over here, if I click my little truck icon, it will take me into the details of this shipment. And now I'm in StarShip, but I can see the 2 packages, the total weight, the individual size. I did a UPS small box and a medium box, the weight of each. Okay. I can see the line items, the orange widget and the gray widget, the quantities. All of this information is pulling directly from ScanForce. And no one had to enter this in StarShip. This is the big benefit. No one has to go and log in at a PC and type all this in. All they did was just one extra screen at the end of the pick shipping process on our handheld with their enter their weights and quantities, and everything magically flows here, and my labels have already printed out. Now, I can show you what that label looks like. I'll come down here and I'll request a print of those labels. And let me get those up on my screen here. Well, sorry, I lost those. So I had those set not to print because I was printing out too many labels. So I had them set to go to a PDF. So sorry, can't show you that at the end. But the labels would have already printed. I could reprint them here if I wished. Okay, so it would come out with a package 1 of 2 and package 2 of 2. So the user could very simply apply those to the package right there. Okay. And that's the process. So it's execute the normal picking process through our warehouse management system, just like normal. Okay. Then there's the one extra line, one extra screen, I should say, where you enter the weights and the box sizes, and the labels print out instantly, along with documentation like packing lists, hazmat documents, any sort of shipping documents. And the emails can automatically be sent from StarShip to your client with all this great information about the shipping and the tracking.